LaVar Ball, big baller brand, once again in the headlines this week. On Wednesday, LaMelo Ball squared off with top recruit Zion Williamson. Fans stood 6 and 7 rows deep just to get a glimpse of these two highly touted players. So that was Wednesday. On Friday, LaVar Ball threatened to pull his team off the court after receiving a technical from a female referee. Ball later criticized the ref, stating that she's not in shape and she's not calling the game right. Event organizers would remove the referee from the game, which created its own set of controversies. And then on Saturday, LaMelo had 56 against Team Lillard. Ball was the focal point on offense for the team. Did pick up a technical foul along the way. He did lead all players at the Adidas Summer Championships with 36.5 points per game. So a lot to unpack there on the trip. George Sedano joins us now. George, many see LaVar Ball as a loud but largely harmless figure, and then we had the deal with the female referee. Do you believe there's a shift after what he did, what he said this weekend?
I do think there's been a shift, David. Now, I've been all in on LaVar. I still feel like LaVar has good intentions ultimately, but I do think in this particular case, LaVar was wrong. Not only what he said to the female referee and the way he behaved with her specifically, but just taking the kids off the court or even threatening to take the kids off the court. It's basically, I'm taking my ball and going home, and I didn't love that from him. And this is someone who I've talked to for a long time now, almost a year now. We've been talking to LaVar Ball on our radio show, and to his credit, every time something happens like this, he comes on. He came on this morning, and he was very much unapologetic. I asked him very simply, if you could see that female referee again and just kind of talk this thing out, would you be willing to do so? And he said, absolutely not. She can go her way, I'll go my way, and that's kind of the end of it.
Okay, actually, let's play a little clip from your radio show this morning when you're talking to LaVar Ball. Let's have a listen.
It's like, wow, nobody ever does it. Oh, just sit there and take the punishment. No, I ain't sitting there and taking nothing because I don't have to. And that's what I'm telling my kids. You don't have to do nothing you don't want to do. I don't care what they say. Of course I'm being unfairly targeted, but it's okay. Why wouldn't I be? They say I got a big mouth anyway. They say we bad as heck. Of course you want to try to quiet me up. That's the way I've been coaching all the time. It's just entertainment. Instead of going to the movies, people are coming to the AAU game to watch a game.
All right, I guess there's some problems in that. Certainly, as you mentioned, he's not apologetic. He's not contrite. What else did you guys discuss about that whole situation this morning?
Well, David, he pretty much said that he was targeted there. I had asked him that question because he kept saying that the female referee in this particular case, had been on his case since Wednesday, and he felt that she was treating him and his team unfairly. So I asked him point blank, do you feel like you're being targeted? And he said, yes. He said, why wouldn't I be? Because I'm a loudmouth. Now, look, I don't know if any of that's true. I wasn't there to see any of that. Do I think that that could be a possibility? Sure. Do I think it was the case in this particular instance? No. And I still don't think that, that doesn't give him any reason, David, to act or behave the way he acted. But again, he does not want to hear from anyone. He said, basically, he gave us the Charles Barkley role or line the other day on our show, or this morning on our show, which was, I'm not a role model. Parents can parent their kids their way. I can parent my kids my way. And that's the stance he took. Again, just was not interested in having a conversation about apologizing in any way, shape, or form.
Some people say it's taking your ball and going home. It also is a power play, and frankly, George, it worked. I mean, Adidas basically took that referee off the court because of LaVar's threat to remove his team from the crowd. What do you think the blame goes to Adidas in all this?
Well, I think they take a lot of blame, David. I think they're kind of skating a little bit on this because they chose to remove that referee from the floor. They could have taken a stance and said, no, LaVar, sorry, this isn't your show, it's our show. You're not bigger than basketball, you're not bigger than this particular game, and you're not bigger than anyone here. Now, the stories have been out there that Adidas felt like they needed to keep LaVar there because he puts, quote-unquote, butts in the seats. I asked him if he knew anything about that, and he said absolutely not. He basically said that was fake news, according to him, that was just to sell newspapers or to push clicks online. He didn't feel like that was the case at all, and no one had ever come up to him and said that they needed to keep him in the game.
All right, I don't want LaVar to be overshadowing another one of his sons, so I do want to ask you about this. There's an article on ESPN.com right now that calls LaMelo Ball the most hated high school athlete of all time. Do you agree with this?
He might be. David, let's be honest here, and I think a lot of that is because of LaVar's actions. We've seen NBA players not that long ago. John Wall was, I guess, on either Snapchat or some sort of social media, and TMZ posted it about how John Wall's going to go at Lonzo when he gets in the game. And I think Lonzo's going to deal with that at the NBA level. I think LiAngelo's going to deal with that at the college level in his freshman season at UCLA. And I certainly think LaMelo's dealing with that. Now, here's the difference. Lonzo and LiAngelo, they're men, basically, at this point. Whereas LaMelo's still a kid. He's much more impressionable. And even LaVar has admitted that LaMelo's a wild guy like LaVar. And I don't know how that's necessarily going to work. I think that stuff is fine and dandy. But if he can't play up to snuff, he's going to deal with a lot of issues at these courts and at these particular games, not only with other players going at him, but clearly the fans. And that's what I worry. I don't want the kid or any of these kids to have any issues with fans heckling them or doing any of that, because that's not what this should be about at this level.
All right, George Sedano giving us his thoughts. Again, you can catch this mornings with Keyshawn, George, and LZ on ESPN Radio in L.A. George, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.